Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Football Daily Weekly. Good to have you here once again. Laurence is back.
Hi.
Good to see you, Laurence, as always. And Daniel from FTBpro.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about the things that happened on the weekend. Let's start off with Liverpool. They outclassed Manchester United 3-0. Easy peasy, Daniel.
It was easy. It was a bit too easy, and a bit probably embarrassing for United fans.
But I mean, there were 3 penalties in the game. There could have been about 5, couldn't there, Laurence?
It was ridiculous. I think that the tactics definitely played towards that, though. The gap between Vidic and Evra was one that they were always going to exploit with pace.
Yes.
Because if Evra's getting forward, he's not fast enough to get back. And I think Rodgers was actually quite blunt about it. He basically kept attacking that area over and over again, pulled Evra wide, and that's why they played Sterling instead of Coutinho. And it was simple, really. I think he was very blunt with his tactics and realised that if he got the ball in the midfield, gave it to Henderson, allowed him to distribute to other people, then it was going to be quite a simple game for Liverpool. And of course the penalties are going to be called, because I actually think each one was a penalty.
Well, even the Sturridge one?
Oh, the
That was a dive.
That was a dive.
He's an Amish boy, all right? So
Is he?
yeah,
Amish or honest?
he's Amish. He's
Yeah,
Amish,
okay,
so he doesn't leave in video replays.
Oh, very good there. Liverpool was superior to Manchester United quite clearly. They have been this season, and I think that a lot of people thought going into this game, you know, it's often billed as the biggest fixture in English football. The rivalry is intense and has been for many a year. Will Manchester United perhaps come out with some credibility? There was nothing really to hang their hats on.
No, the dignity was lost in that game, I think. I texted that to a friend, and I didn't really know what to say, because it seemed so awkward that United they were not doing anything. No. I mean, even Full-Time Devils tweeted, we just looked like statues out there.
Yeah.
And it was weird, because normally Liverpool want that rivalry with United, but there wasn't any rivalry there. It was just a game where Liverpool went there, looked supremely confident against United, outclassed them tactically, even considering that they had the likes of Rooney out there on the pitch, who's considered to be England's best player right now. You'd have expected him to at least put a performance in, and he tried to get a penalty, didn't end up getting one because it wasn't. I think United fans were very disappointed. At least when Rodgers was finishing well behind United the previous season, it looked like there was a vision that he was implementing. There was something that he was saying to the players, look, we're going to stick to this and we'll get it right in the end. Whereas Moyes, maybe there's something he's sticking to, and we'll see in the second season, once he's had the time to bring in new players and bring in the players he wants, and maybe get rid of some of the, not deadwood, but older players who don't believe in his vision. And maybe that's what United fans have to hang their hat on right now, is that this is the first season, and you know, they will get rid of some of the players or move some of them on that don't quite fit Moyes' vision.
Well, I suppose, Daniel, I'll ask you, will he get a second season if it carries on?
Yeah, I think he should. I think this. I think he should. I mean, at a club like Man United, that's such a massive club. If they were just to kind of say, okay, Moyes, you're out, you finished, I think it would be a mistake. Give him another season. I think.
Of course you would say that, you're an Arsenal fan.
Moyes in.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would, because that's their policy, and they pride themselves on being different. But I do genuinely think that in the past we've seen, Ferguson moved everyone on very quickly, and you'd say that therefore became very much the United way. That it's nothing to do with judging people and saying you're not good enough. It's to do with saying I don't think you fit this model. And I wonder if that's the reason that United would have to get rid of Moyes at the end of the season. Is even the way you're talking doesn't sound like a Manchester United way of talking. The defensive way you're playing, subbing out Mata for Ferdinand, which I think most journalists tweeted that was just bizarre.
Well, Manchester United, in the words of D. Ream, things can only get better, surely.
I never thought I'd hear that on this show.
The North London derby finished with an Arsenal win. North London is red right about now with the Arsenal red. What a goal from Rosicky in the second minute, and that was all the goals that we saw.
Yeah, what a goal.
Daniel, you must be very pleased as an Arsenal fan.
It was a tense game. I mean, it wasn't actually enjoyable to watch that game. It really wasn't.
Sherwood thought his side with a better team. You can understand him.
No, you can. Look, they had Arsenal had great chances as well. They dominated the game. They had possession. We sat back, unfortunately. I think we didn't.
That's not unfortunate though, is it? Surely you literally, Arsenal shut up shop. And they got that goal, and then
it's true. And it's something you haven't seen from Arsenal in previous seasons. Kind of that mentality to shut up shop, and luckily got away with it. So yeah, I mean, but I'm not complaining. Yeah, I'm not complaining.
What about Tottenham, Laurence? I mean, they probably won't make the top 4 now.
The gap's very big, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, where do they go from here? I mean, do they keep Sherwood on? Do they give him a lot of money to spend? Do they take him out and maybe get somebody like
Van Gaal?
Van Gaal,
yeah.
De Boer.
De Boer, one of the two. Someone who is in that ilk of a manager, I think.
Do you think that's their next step, Tom?
I think it's the consensus, isn't it? That's why he signed a short-term contract. So it's awkward, I think, that he's come in and done a reasonable job, but not quite a good enough job for what they're aiming for.
But it is a funny time for Tottenham. I mean, it's his first season as a number one, and in the Premier League as well, taking over from AVB at such a time.
He's got can I just say he's got a worse record than Andre Villas-Boas? He's got
Yes, he does.
just a worse record overall than AVB.
But
But
AVB had a season before.
Yes.
You know, AVB was there for what, a season and a half roughly.
Yeah.
Whereas Sherwood hasn't been. He's only been in charge for 13 games or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Do you think they should keep Sherwood on for another season? I mean, you obviously said that about Moyes. It is a very different situation.
Yeah, no, it's different. I think I actually feel a bit sorry for even people like Villas-Boas or Sherwood. You know, they come in. You know, they haven't got time to do much. They've just got to go in and manage the games, and it's difficult. You know, you've got a group of players I don't know. It's difficult. Consistency helps in football. It's been shown, and I think it's unfortunate for someone like Villas-Boas, for example, who went to Chelsea and Spurs, two clubs that don't have consistency with their managers.
Yeah.
I feel a bit it's a bit harsh on Sherwood, really. I mean, maybe he's a good manager. I don't know. You can't really tell. But I don't think he'll be there next season.
The title race is wide open. Wide open. 4 teams, gentlemen. It is March and there are 4 teams that could win the Premier League. We're living in great days. We really are. Chelsea are currently in pole position. Manchester City, sorry. Freudian.
Awkward.
City are 3 games in hand and 6 points behind, so of course if they win those 3 games they'll be ahead. Arsenal though back in it, and Liverpool have got a lot of momentum. Yeah. Daniel, what do you make of all this?
Well, I'll try to take my Arsenal glasses off it. I think yeah, it's you can't call this one. It's so tight. I mean, Chelsea slipping up, you know, City slipping up here and there. I think Arsenal will lack because they haven't got that striker. They haven't got that kind of goal threat. They're missing players. You know, that's not going to help.
It's all about the FA Cup for Arsenal, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. But staying on the league.
Yeah, staying on the league. Yeah, it's between Chelsea and City. I think City will do it. I think City will do it. They've just got depth in squad, and they'll those games that they'll need to win, they'll bring in Aguero back. And
Laurence,
Chelsea.
I think Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool. Oh. I do. I think Liverpool are going to do it, and I think it's going to be. It's going to be
quite 5 on that then. 5 on that. Okay, go on.
Oh, we haven't seen that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Mind the moths, ladies and gentlemen. In Germany, I fancy Bayern Munich for the Bundesliga.
You've called it.
Definitely.
You've called it.
Yeah, a 23-point gap.
Yeah.
The chasm is always going to be enough for a team in March. But Bayern Munich have now gone 50 league matches unbeaten, and obviously, you know, the stuff with their president recently, Uli Hoeneß, has been very unfortunate. But that aside, you know, club.
Can I say that's not unfortunate? All right? Yeah.
Okay, well that's a real black mark for the club.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you know, Bayern Munich are going from strength to strength. Champions League, they look as though they could be the first side to retain it, and in the league they are absolutely swatting teams aside. I mean, are we seeing perhaps the side like Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, where they dominated for 3 years roughly? Could we see that with this Bayern side?
I mean, they could, because they still have youth on their side. They're bringing in other people come the end of the season, Lewandowski, etc. And I think they probably will sign a couple of other guys. I think also what made Barca so dominant in those years was the system that they employed. And the fact that Guardiola's been able to implement his own system at Bayern Munich means that players are interchangeable within there. And you know, even bringing someone new in, if you teach them the same system and you teach them those basics, then it allows you to keep your dominance. I resent that slightly though. I don't like the dominance of Bayern Munich in the German league in the same way that I didn't like the dominance of any side in any league. I don't know, they've had such a long time to build themselves up, and it feels a bit unfair at times to me that they came up in those years and other people are now struggling to keep up because they are such a financial behemoth.
Yeah, but if you look at, I mean, from a footballing perspective, I think have got an edge over someone like Barcelona. Barcelona are very one-dimensional, but with Munich they've got such variety in their play. You know, obviously Guardiola's brought their, you know, the passing style, but they can change things up, the long ball, and they showed it against Arsenal. You know, they just changed it up a bit, and I think that's important when you want to be the biggest team in Europe. You want to have that variety, that strength, and they've got that. They've got everything there. I think it can be a real force.
Lionel Messi has become Barcelona's all-time top goal scorer. It's not a surprise. The little Argentinian's done it finally. So he is the out-and-out goal scorer for Barcelona in their history. a ridiculous achievement.
Yeah.
I think that Messi breaks so many records, but this could be perhaps the best one. Barcelona, a club like that, Daniel, to be there out and out top goal scorer of all time.
It is. It's an amazing feat. It's an amazing. I mean, he
does have amazing feet.
He does have amazing feet. He does. He's a little genius. I mean, he's actually a freak of nature. If you
I'd say that's offensive. All right, yeah.
I kind of know what you mean though about that.
He is. No, but he is. Look at him. The ball stick. He's low centre of gravity. He's technically just amazing. I mean, Messi's just got something. He's ridiculous. Yeah, it's an amazing achievement.
There's a few things you can really say about it. It's just superlative after
exactly.
Superlative.
It is.
Laurence.
He's changed his game through the years ever so slightly, so he can still drop deep and do a very good job. He can play in the centre. He can draw people out wide. And I think that adaptability is, especially within the Barcelona team, is what serves him very well. Has allowed him to score a lot of goals. Bear in mind, it's also a huge achievement to get him that amount of goals for this team.
Yes.
And he has been in a great side for that entire time. There's never been a time where you think, well, they're mediocre.
Yeah.
And he's there for the dominant years of Pep Guardiola. And you know, they're still doing very well in the league as well. So it's understandable that he is their top scorer at this point. But it doesn't take away from the achievement at all.
No.
It's that he's managed to consistently maintain that top level for years and years. And you know, that's no mean feat in itself. You know, it's possible to have a couple of good seasons here, a couple of good seasons there. I don't think we've ever had a season where we've said he underwhelmed. You know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Messi. We were talking before the cameras started rolling, Daniel, about Messi and one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
And people say, he needs to win a World Cup for Argentina.
Just wait.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Come the summer.
Well,
do you agree with that, or do you think will always be considered one of the best?
I think he will always be considered. He's won three Champions Leagues. I mean, Champions League. Put the World Cup's one. It's a cup competition. You know, it's a massive stage. But some of the best players in the world have never won the World Cup. But yeah, I think it would win the Champions League 3 times. You know, La Liga, dominate in Spain.
Number of Ballon d'Ors.
Exactly. But
4 in a row.
The one thing he hasn't done, which you could say Ronaldo has done, or a couple of other top players, is he's only played at one club, and he hasn't kind of gone to England, you know, to Italy and played in different teams. So that's one. But no, we are looking at one of the all-time greats. We are, yeah.
To be fair, he's transferred his form into the Champions League, so he's proven that he can play against that style of football, which I know is almost a stupid argument for me to make. But
it's a fair point.
I get that, you know, there's a lot of merit in being a one-club man. You know, there are a lot of players who do want to move on because it's hard to keep it fresh. The mental side of it itself is a tricky thing, and to be able to maintain that top level for such a long time. Granted, he's at a very nurturing club, which allows him to do that. But I think that's something that very often goes overlooked, just because we see what happens on the pitch. Mentally, to be able to maintain that top level, even Jose Mourinho has to move on every couple of years because he can't keep that motivation.
Yeah, well done, Messi. That's all we've got time for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for watching. Do leave your comments below and let us know what you think of what we've been discussing. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.